Hello students, my name is Naresh Kumar. I teach political science at the Department of Evening Studies, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Today we are going to discuss constructivism in international relations. Constructivism is one of the latest theory of international relation. It actually questions the existing grand theoretical narratives in IR. Constructivism believes that significant part of international relation is historically and socially constructed. It dismisses the grand theoretical narratives which says that international relation is impacted by human nature or by the grand structures of world politics. In today's lecture, we will discuss various features of constructivism, and then we will discuss various thinkers of constructivism like Alexander Wendt, Emmanuel Adler, and other thinkers. After that, we will sum up our findings. Constructivism does not refer to a unified body of thought. Constructivism is marked by features like pragmatism, use of analytical tools necessary for understanding intersubjective meanings like the speech act theory or the theory of communicative action, faith in an evolutionary epistemology, and commitment to an idea of social science that is flexible and genuinely social. Constructivist notion of intersubjectivity involve both harmony and discord. If community is positive in imagination of a perceived sense of collective identity, it is also simultaneously a process of otherization. For any identity is logically a contrast to its other. Identities both cohere and displace, while identities may be shared to some extent. Beyond a point, they are always incommensurate. Any identities thus help constructivists to consider the dynamic differentiations and politics of integrations together. Constructivists see the ideas as causal. They normatize the conflict. Conflicts are ideational and material, intellectual as well as mechanical. Conflict grow on different interpretation of facts. They are ideational in the sense of being ideologically constituted in the mind of man. For constructivists, conflict is a matter of discordant or analytical perceptions held by adversarial actor. Conflict is a matter of dissonant or analytical perception held by adversarial actors. Threats are always perpetual and ideational. Ideas shape the world, define actors and set of preference. They matters equally to myriad dimensions of security as well. First, constructivists like Wendt and Adler all have strongly articulated a case for subtracting the gap between rationalism and constructivism on one hand, realism and constructivism on other hand. Second, most constructivists have prepared concrete case studies based on constructivist epistemology, and although a general theory of constructivism, one that subsumes the inner variations conclusively is yet to emerge. The direction of research within the paradigm show good consistency and focus. Third, constructivism has shown an excellent capacity to fill several loopholes and limitations of the dominant rationalist paradigm, particularly with regard to research constitutive norms. It is because of the modesty, the intellectual sincerity, undoubtedly promised to be most exciting perspective of the discipline. The constructivists argue that social world is product of human consciousness consisting the different kind of communicative idiom and congeal around some form of community The social world is intersubjectivity. It is made by people who live there in a manner they wish to understand and relate to. Social world is predicted on the material. However, material entities become meaningful things, the ideas or beliefs that people come to have about them. Even in the hard world, the military security, meaning rules. Thus, security is not a matter of physical asset, mere arms or gadgets signify nothing. What matters is the ideal or belief underlying the making. Organization and development of weapons are perceived by people. The military aspects are thus subjectively configured and assume potency in the consciousness of being. For the constructivist, security is not only a matter of physical capabilities. Security attribute defining capabilities are no doubt important, but what is unquestionably prior is the understanding people develop of these capabilities. Constructivists problematize what mainstreams take for granted. They question how actors come to bear identities and interests. With the mainstream, identities are given. With constructivist, identities are acquired, constituted, and transformed. To quote, thus, contra neoliberalism, I argue, the American hegemony was ever bit as important as American hegemony in shaping the post-war order. Constructivists also differ with neoliberal institutionalists over the dynamics of choices. The constructivists enjoys identities or definitions of selfhood as motivator of such choice. Identities are seldom static. Identities transformations redefine the schedule of state interests. In addition, the constructivists also talk in a language of norms. Normative ideas are loaded with causal potency by key constructivist thinkers. Alexander Wendt and constructivism. Alexander Wendt defined constructivism as following. Constructivism is a structural theory of international system that makes the following core claim. Number 1. States are the principal unit of analysis for international political theory. Second, key structure in the state system are intersubjective rather than material. States, identities, and interests are an important part constructed by these social structures rather than given to the system by human nature or democratic or domestic politics. His constructivism is state-centric, but he does not take the state for granted. States are not dull, lifeless entities. They bear a collective identity that create basic state appetites such as drive for physical security, stability, recognition by others, and development. How state fulfills their needs, however, depend upon their social identity. That is, how state define themselves in relation to others within the international system. Hence, contrary to realism, anarchy is not logically wedded to conflict and zero-sum view of world. Wendt shows that a variety of social structures are possibly under anarchy. The constructivist reading of conflict is very different from realist mode. First, as Alexander Wendt categorically put it, the deep structures of anarchy is a cultural or ideational rather than material phenomena. Hence, the logic of anarchy varies accordingly. There are different cultures of anarchy with their distinctive concomitant role. Vendant identify three micro-level culture of international politics, namely Hobbesian, Lockean and Kantian, based on distinctive images of the relationship between self and other. The three cultures fit with three distinctive roles: enemy, rival and friends. The upshot of his argument is that these cultures are distinctive in terms of how a state visualizes. There is a possibility of transformation of these images over time. States have plural social identities, some cooperative and some conflicting, depending on how they define the social situation in which they live. Vendant's fundamental contribution, therefore, is to explain variations in state interactions through a social theory that disclose the dynamics of changing state preference and action. Vendant constructivism hinges ultimately on idea of identities. According to Vendant, the daily life of international politics is ongoing process of state taking identities in realism of other, casting them into corresponding counter identities and playing out the result. In social theory of international politics, Vendant shows how identity is defined and how it changes vis-a-vis interaction. He defined identities in an early work as relatively stable, role-specific understandings and exceptions about self. Vendant imputes a certain discursive quality to social structures as being inseparable from the reason and self-understandings to agents. Identities of actor is determined through interactions. Vendant works sum up the main thrust of the approach. Number 1. Meaning and extraordinary power of distribution of capabilities is constituted by the distribution of interest in system. Those interests in terms are ideal. Power and interest are therefore culturally constituted. States are unitary actors bearing anthropomorphic attributes such as identities, interests, intentionalities with certain capacities for institutionalized collective action. The self-interest of power-seeking characters of state, however, is contingent and socially constructed. The state articulates, defines interest on the basis of identities, and these interests are endogenous and changeable. Norms and constructivism. Katzenstein, Johnston, and Elders on norm, identity, strategic culture, and security community. Most dominant approach in norm analysis remain that of Peter Katzenstein and his terms, who have published extensively surveys on the role of norms, identities and culture, different dimensions of national security. A second tendency has been the use of norm to flesh out theoretical implication of security community in constructivist modes. The third varieties of norm analysis relate to strategic culture approach. Katzenstein's central argument is that security environment of a state is both materially and culturally, institutionally constituted. Further, the cultural environment not only regulates behavior across issues area, it also contributes the basic characters of state or their identity. Katzenstein also problematized the ontological status of the actors, emphasizing their socially contingent character rather than being exogenous to the environment. Third, norm and cultural matter to the pattern of cooperation and conflict in international affairs. In friends, actors, selections and alliance, and in the indetermination of ground, neutral or enemy. He defines norms as collective expectations for a proper behavior of actor with a given identities. Norms are both constitute that they help define the identities of an actor in the sense of specifying standard of proper behavior. Thus, norms either define identities in first place or prescribe. He identified 5 crucial functions of norms regarding national security. Thus, cultural and institutional element of state environment shape the national security interest. The security policies of state shape identities. Variation in state identities affect security interests or policy of states. Configuration of state identity structures affect interstate normative such as a regime or security community, and state policy reproduce and reconstruct cultural and institutional structure. Katzenstein claims that norm, culture and identity matters to security. Actors are culturally and socially constituted, and security is at least as much a matter of ideas and cultural mediation as it is a reflex of material calculation, are invaluable to the development of an alternative thinking of security. Johnstone defines strategic culture as an integrated system of symbols which acts to establish progressive and long-lasting strategic preference by formulating concepts of role and efficiency of military forces in interstate political affairs, and by collecting these conceptions with such a aura of factuality that strategic preference seem uniquely realistic and efficacious. He constructed certain observable indicators to trace strategic culture. He attempts this by breaking down strategic culture into 2 parts. The first constitutes basic assumption about orderliness of strategic movement, about the nature of adversary and threats it poses, and other efficacy of the use of force. Together, these comprise central paradigm of strategic culture. The second part is more about specific, that is, operational level assumptions relating to strategic options considered efficacy in dealing with threats environment. Thus, Johnstone's strategic culture evolves in the form of a limited ranked set of grand strategy preference. He urged for adoption of 2 norms of content analysis, merely cognitive mapping and symbolic analysis. Cognitive mapping involves rigorously analyzing the contents of a particular document or sample of document and drawing graphically all cause-effect statement of sample. Symbolic analysis, on the other hand, holds strategic culture may be reflected by symbols about the role of forces in human affairs, about efficacy of certain strategies, and hence about what sort of strategies are better than others. Symbolic analysis include the examination of idioms and phrases, keywords, and metaphor. His contribution is usually for 2 reasons. First, his analysis concretizes the research agenda considerably by situating the element of strategic culture in word of policy making. In policy making, draft diaries, memorandum, documents, and other forms of recorded evidence. Second, his detailed exposition is self-critical and cautious. It shows the limits of explaining through strategic culture and power effects that it might have other equally possible explanations of policy choice. Emanuel Elder work hinges on identities of identities. Elder inspiration is Carl Deutsch, who pioneered the concept of pluralistic security community in the 50s. Elder security communities are socially constructed regions whose security and welfare frontier coincide with limits of shared understanding and common identities. Territoriality separates people and people, then with definite homeland. The state becomes the basic citizens' unconditional agencies. Community region can therefore be the most powerful distinctions of man. Such community regions are socially constructed, spatially differentiated, and transnational in nature, constituted by natural, transactional, and international elites and institutions. People whose commitment go beyond soft territorialities, who can and do communicate freely across the border, work with political commitment toward promotion of regional interest, and catalyze such sentiments and perspectives in their respective jurisdiction constitute these regions. Two other themes stand out Elder's writing. First, elder security communities essentially meant for liberal democracies. Elder developed an interesting argument based on democracies, privileged the case for liberal. Elder developed an interesting argument based on democracies to privilege the case for liberal order. He did concede that security communities were possible in other kind of order after all, but liberal democratic order had or diffused the underlying norm in such region. Second, Elder is in his subsequent writing did recognize the role of power behind the development of institutionalization of security community. Elder also noted that social reality is not only matter of identity and imposed meaning. The configuration of identity and imposition of meaning are large measure physically determined, with material and theoretical resources playing vital role in this. Concluding observations. Constructivist formulation regarding the unpacking of state and mutability of state interaction lend sufficient flexibility to account for variations in given relationship. The constructivists have a powerful case for explaining conflict at all levels of existential reality. Constructivists explain ethic conflicts as security problem for states by terming them in identity clashes that seem to conform to a given evidence. Communities confront each other only when they have sufficiently defined themselves in terms of exclusive or distinctive identities that both unite and divide at the same time. Constructivists do not freeze identity as settled. Identities are socially constructed that change if people bearing them wish to alter them. Thus, in ethnicity or nationalism of exclusion, the dominant group impose its own values on others and exclude others on sharing of power. So in this presentation, we saw that how constructivism focus on the community interaction and various other social interactions, and they tried to explain that these interactions are important to understand international relations. They do not accept the grand theoretical narrative of dominating theories in IR, but they focus on social and historical construction of international relations. Like other theories, constructivism is also a useful tool to understand international relations and international interactions. Theories are like different glasses, so if you wear a particular kind of glass, you will see a different kind of realities in international relations. So constructivism is a powerful tool to understand the importance of historical and social construction of international relations.